global shipping is basically the engine of our entire world economy, but it comes at a massive cost to the climate. Today, we're going to dive into the incredibly ambitious plan from one of the industry's biggest players, Maersk, to hit net zero emissions by 2040. It's a huge undertaking, and it could literally change the future of global trade as we know it. So, let's get into it. And it really all starts right here. Take a look at this. This is not just any old container ship. This is the world's very first vessel powered by green methanol, and it represents a huge leap forward. But a single ship, no matter how innovative it is, well, it's just one piece of a way bigger puzzle. So, before we jump into the solutions, we really have to get our heads around the massive scale of this challenge. The entire shipping industry is at a major crossroads, facing a climate dilemma that, frankly, it helped create. I mean, think about it. Shipping moves something like 80% of all this stuff in the world. It's essential, but it's also a huge source of greenhouse gases. And at the same time, all this extreme weather we're seeing, droughts messing with canals, huge storms shutting down ports, it's causing chaos for the very supply chains the industry depends on. It's this crazy feedback loop, right? And yeah, breaking it isn't really optional anymore.
Okay, so how on earth do you even start to tackle a problem this massive? Well, for Maersk, the answer begins with one single pioneering ship.
This thing right here is proof, actual floating proof that the tech is ready to go. It kicked off its first journey back in September 2023. We're talking 172 meters long with room for over 2,000 standard containers, and it's out there right now sailing the Baltic Sea. It proves that this technology to ditch fossil fuels isn't just some theory. It's already in the water, doing the work.
Okay, but a single ship, no matter how cool it is, isn't going to solve everything, right? This is really just the opening act for a much, much bigger strategy. This is their blueprint for getting all the way to zero.
At its heart, the whole strategy comes down to two really powerful levers. Imagine you're trying to make your car more eco-friendly. First, you'd tune it up, right? Make the engine run smarter so it sips less gas to go the same distance. That's your efficiency. But then you'd actually swap out the gasoline for, say, an electric charge. That's the energy shift. The key is you have to do both at once.
And here it is, the official plan. Now, don't get lost in all the little details here. The big picture is actually super simple. Over on the left, you've got all the efficiency stuff. And on the right, you've got the big energy shift. Just watch how those two things work together over time to push those emissions down toward their targets. It's a pretty clear path.
All right, let's dig into that first pillar, efficiency. This is all about taking what they already have and making it run leaner, smarter, and just less wasteful. These are the changes that cut emissions right now. So the first place you look for efficiency isn't even the ship itself. It's the journey. It's all about using mountains of data and super smart logistics to basically redesign the entire global shipping map. To get rid of wasted miles and wasted fuel before a ship even casts off.
And this isn't just talk. Here's what they're actually doing. First, they've partnered up with Hapag-Lloyd in what they call the Gemini Cooperation. It basically streamlines everything, fewer port calls and more reliability by using these big strategic hubs. Then there's their AI platform, StarConnect, which is just wild. It chews through billions of data points to map out the most fuel-efficient trip possible. And by making their own ports more productive, ships aren't just sitting around burning fuel. They can sail a bit slower, which saves a ton of energy.
Okay, so you've made the whole network smarter. What's next? Well, now you focus on the actual hardware moving through that network. The ships, the cranes, the whole physical fleet.
And here, they're really attacking the problem from two sides. On one hand, they're bringing in brand new, super efficient ships that are built to run on cleaner fuels from day one. But you can't just replace everything overnight, right? So on the other hand, they are aggressively upgrading their existing fleet. We're talking over 425 projects just last year, installing things like new propellers and these special bulbous bows, anything to slice through the water more efficiently and cut fuel use today.
But here's the thing. Efficiency improvements are great, but they'll only get you part of the way there. To really hit zero, you've got to change the fuel itself. And that brings us to the second and honestly the most game-changing part of the plan.
And this isn't some far-off dream. It is already having a huge impact. Just last year, in 2023, customers who opted into Maersk's eco-delivery service, which swaps out fossil fuels for green ones, they saved, get this, over 683,000 tons of greenhouse gases. That's not a future promise. That's what happened last year.
And what's so important here is that this isn't just Maersk pushing its own thing.
When you see a quote from a huge company like Volvo Cars, it tells you something really powerful. Their customers are demanding this. They're actively choosing and partnering for cleaner shipping. That customer demand is a massive engine for change.
Now, this kind of energy shift doesn't happen with the flip of a switch. It's a journey. You can see the pathway here. They started with biofuels, things like biodiesel from waste. The next step, which is happening right now, is green methanol for all these new ships. And the step after that? They're already getting ready for the next wave of future fuels like e-methanol, which could slash emissions by over 90%. It's a step-by-step evolution.
And it's really important to remember, this energy shift isn't just about the boats. Maersk handles the whole journey, from factory to front door, so they're electrifying the land-based parts too. We're talking battery-powered equipment in the terminals, super green warehouses, and rolling out fleets of electric trucks in the US, Europe, and China. It's a top-to-bottom overhaul.
All right, so we've seen that Maersk has this incredibly ambitious, super detailed, and technically possible plan. They're doing everything they can in the areas they directly control. But that leads us to the final and maybe the most important piece of the whole puzzle.
And if we're being honest, the answer is no. It's not enough on its own. Even for a giant like Maersk, turning the entire global shipping industry green is just too big a job for one company. Its success really hinges on a whole bunch of other things falling into place.
For this whole thing to actually work, you basically need 4 key things to happen. 1, you need strong global rules from the International Maritime Organization, the IMO, to level the playing field and close that price gap between dirty and clean fuels. 2, you need way more partnerships across the industry, things like these green corridors to build out the new infrastructure. 3, somebody has to actually make all this new green fuel, and on a massive scale. And 4, customers have to keep choosing the greener shipping option.
So, at the end of the day, Maersk has drawn the map. They've built the first ships. They've essentially fired the starting pistol on this race. But actually transforming an industry this big, one that literally powers our entire world, is going to take everyone. We're talking regulators, competitors, fuel suppliers, and customers. Everyone has to get on board. The plan is set. The first ships are sailing. The real question is, will the world sail with them?